for another show, for another press room breakdown or press conference breakdown, or whatever you want to call it. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the content over the summer and into the start of the season. If you are, of course, please subscribe if you're new and give the shows a like if you're enjoying them. Turn those notifications on so you can join in with our live chats like you could be doing right now. And of course, please do go and check out some of the content we've done over the last week. The ones we've done related to the Liverpool show. I mean, the tactical breakdown of the Liverpool game was really, really good, and I hope people enjoyed it. And of course, yesterday we uploaded the Eyes of the Opposition show with Joe Aldrich, which you can also go check out on the channel. So please do and go and do that. They're all on the channel. You don't need to click anything. Just literally you need to go on the channel and that is it. But you are here to be here for the breakdown of Emery's press conference ahead of the North London derby. So let's get straight into things and talk about it. Obviously, he was meeting ahead of what is easily the biggest game of the season so far. And let's get stuck in and talk about this, of course, from the Football London website. So if you want to go and check out and read back through it, it's on Football London. So please do go and do that. But let's get straight into things and talk through it. So he starts off with a question about facing Tottenham Hotspur, and he says that I want to write a new derby, a new match, and a new moment for us here. I want a special day with the fans. Yes, the intensity will be very important. We'll try and play with identity and need to improve game plan against them. We need to be clever with the ball and make the difference against them. I think it is a big challenge. So we don't really need to go into too much detail about how important this game is. Emery knows that. We know that. The players hopefully will know that as well. But there's a lot of questions that will arise about how we might set up and play, and hopefully we will see some of what he's going to tell us in a little bit about how we might set up in that game. But let's first say hello to our live chat. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. We've got Ronan, TM Dex. Hey, Tom, finally caught you live. Thanks for all the content. You're doing some great stuff, buddy. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Arsenal Kid says, great YouTuber, great club. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. Avon's in here with us as well. Thank you ever so much. We've got so many of you. Patrick, I'll try and catch as many of you as possible. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. But yeah, it's a big game. He knows that. He knows it's a big game. We need to play with intensity. We need to allow them, or we need to limit how much our space that we will open for ourselves, because we know that Newcastle played a very absorbent game against Tottenham Hotspur in which they couldn't really attack them, and it meant that Newcastle were able to keep a clean sheet and hit on the break and win 1-0. We will leave more spaces than Newcastle will, because we are going out there to try and win the game and win the game well. And that will mean that Spurs will be able to get behind us in some occasions. So we need to be strong. We need to be secure. And when it matters, Leno and the other defenders as well will need to be on it to stop them. Question about Rob Holding. Obviously, Rob Holding's been playing in the under-23 games and been playing quite well. He's one of his touches in one of the games that we did that they played. One of his touches was insane. Went a bit viral on Arsenal Twitter. I hope you have seen it. If you haven't, please go and see it. He says basically that in training he's playing with us. He's playing with the under-23s. He's not 100% for Sunday, and we knew that. We knew that he wouldn't be back until about September after the international break. Testing his performance each day with the under-23s. He's getting better. Can play one match, but not with the intensity we want for Sunday. So I think that's very clear. We knew that he was going to be back after the international break. So in a couple of weeks' time in September, hopefully Rob Holding will be a regular fixture again in the side. I'm looking forward to see who he decides to play with, because you've got David Luiz, Socrates, and of course, you've got Holding and Chambers as well. So you've got so much choice there that he's going to have to turn around and make a decision in some shape or form. In talking about Bellerin and Tierney, now some of you in the chat box, I noticed that you wanted some information on these two. So here you go. He says that we have to be calm, but also be demanding with the cover because we need them. I think that's in relation to obviously Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac. Monreal's going, so those players we need to be careful and deal with the fact that we don't have too much backup in that scenario. But we need those players, AMN and Kolasinac, to play with intensity and play well. They are the guys that are going to be in the team until these two come back. The international break will give us 2 weeks to test them test them better than before. Now my focus with the players who can play Sunday and prepare with them. After the match, we will stop with different players and test how they can be closer to the team to start playing with us. Arsenal are usually in I say fortunate scenario that not too many of their players actually go on international duty. Like Lacazette, for instance, never seems to get picked for the French international side. There's players like that don't get picked, and it means that you can work quite well with a lot of your quality players. It's a blessing in disguise. I'd prefer if they were on international international duty in some senses because I think it shows the quality in the side. But you can look at the bright side, and being able to work with Tierney and Bellerin with as much of the first team as possible during that 2 weeks off for them, I think is going to be really key to their fitness. I think it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes them to come back. And when they do, I think it really could transform Arsenal into a completely different side. Moving on whether Ozil will be back. He says that this week he's training well and progressing physically better and in training with normal work for us. He's going to be closer to us and available for Sunday. So he's going to be available. I highly doubt he will start that game. But, we've been surprised before by some of his selection. So maybe he will be back for Sunday. If he is back, I doubt he'll be starting. I think that he'll probably be on the bench. They press him a little bit more. He says, will Ozil still be at the club come Monday? A few people were saying that maybe we could see Ozil leave the club before the end of this window. I thought it was highly doubtful, and he pretty much says what you'd expect. He says, yes, we finish here our transfer window, and in Europe it's going to finish on Monday. We cannot sign another player, but we have some players the possibility to leave in the next 4 days. The club is working. Some players know their situation. Now, this relates, of course, to a few like Mustafi. Mustafi has been told very clearly that he's not really in Emery's plans. He'd like if he moved on, if it can be for an amount of money, fantastic. But they're also willing to get him off the wage bill for a season. El Neni, recent links with him are that he could be moving to Besiktas on loan for a season, so taking his wages completely off, which is good for us. Maybe if he plays well that season, that means we can increase his value. I think it's actually quite smart to send him out on loan in a game or in a team rather, that he's going to get lots of minutes, because it can add value to him. If Besiktas want to take him on full-time, they'll be able to do that, and for a better fee for Arsenal. And then, of course, Monreal is looking to go to Real Sociedad, which should be confirmed very, very soon. More on Ozil. He basically just repeated what he said before. We're not speaking about the possibility of Mesut leaving. Monreal leaving, he said, yes, he is one possibility that he could leave. We knew that already. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in our chat box before we move on. Arsenal Fly says, yay, Mustafi. I think he's very happy that he could be leaving. Brandon says, Ozil seems to be frozen out of the squad this season. I don't think it's about frozen out, Brandon. I think it's down to the security concerns and the illness. I wouldn't say it's at all. I think in the pre-season he's performed excellently, and it's just really poor timing what these things have happened to him. Lyndon says, how hard do you think we're going to smash Tottenham? I think we're going to smash them quite comfortably, but that is my optimistic opinion, and I am most certainly going to be turned into a meme if that doesn't happen. Avon says that will NLD be Nacho's last game for Arsenal? I don't think he's even going to feature. I think the deal will be done before that. I'd rather it wasn't. If he is still at the club come the North London derby, I think he should actually play. It'd be great to see him play one final game. It'd be great to be a North London derby, and I think he's the better choice over Kolasinac in a back four. So hopefully he is there for the game. Hopefully he does play, but we're just going to have to see. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Samuel says, good job, fam. We'll definitely be reap Tottenham to reap. Tottenham, I think it means rip. Tottenham to shreds. Let's go, Arsenal. Good stuff. And Patrick says, love the show. One of the best on YouTube. Keep it up. Thank you ever so much. Kezatud says he hopes Pepe breaks all their ankles. Well, with the way his technical ability is going, maybe that is something in principle he could do. But no, let's not be sadistic. I don't want that physically going on. But thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. Boy says, what to have for lunch? What did you have? I had a sandwich, but thanks for tuning in and asking some questions. Brandon says, Tom, are we going to get Real Sociedad player in return? I don't think so. I don't think that's part of the deal. And Rayan says that Pepe is going to score. Let's continue on with our breakdown then on playing with the diamond formation. Now, this is something in our tactical breakdown. If you checked it out, I hope you did. If you haven't, please do go back and check out the tactical breakdown we did with Graham Brooks. We talked about the diamond formation and how it sort of kept us quite narrow, quite tight, quite congested in the midfield, trying to overload their midfield. It didn't really work the way that Emery wanted down to his execution. But Emery says that I understand the question. We won with the diamond last year and we lost with it as well. We can win and we can lose with the diamond. The consequence of the result on Sunday was not the diamond, but really we are ready to play with the different tactical decisions. Last year we worked and used different formations with good performances because the players here have worked on different systems. We know that Emery as a manager he tinkers a lot with his team. He changes the formations, changes the tactics, changes the players depending on the opposition we're going up against. When we're at home, we need to be positive. We need to be attacking. We need to be as open and free and fluid as feasibly possible. And to do that, I think we need to play in a 4-3-3. In fact, tomorrow's video is going to be on a formation that I would personally field against Tottenham Hotspur. So if you want to make sure you're tuning in for that, subscribe, turn those notifications on. It'll be live as well, I'm hoping, so you'll be able to put your suggestions in too. Now, this is a big question. Will Pepe, Aubameyang and Lacazette start in this game? He says, and I love this line, yes, but be calm. I think it's something that a lot of Arsenal fans have wanted for a long time, and he knows that we have. So it should be fairly exciting to see that. I'm going to be at the game on Sunday. Really, really looking forward to it. Feel free to say hi. Go for a drink before, and it's going to be really, really good. Can't wait for it. But I think the main thing is that we're looking to see those three start for the first time together at the beginning of a match. Not playing 20 minutes here and there, start together in the match. Says, yes, but be calm. My decision in each moment is thinking about how we are. For example, with Lacazette, he had a problem with his ankle. This week is the best week of the last 3 weeks. He's getting better and feeling better with his ankle. It's very positive. With Pepe, he came here later than the others, but he is getting and feeling better in each match. Aubameyang is very important for us. He scores 2 goals in the first 2 matches, and he had 2 or 3 good actions in Liverpool. He could have easily scored against Liverpool, and he should have scored in that game. We need those 3. We need those 3 playing together. We need them playing together as quickly as possible so they can gel, get to know each other on a proper pitch, not just in training, because it's a completely different scenario. And if that can happen, Arsenal have got a really, really good chance of blowing plenty of teams, not just Tottenham Hotspur, but into dust with how many good opportunities that they can create for each other. Let's see what some of you guys are saying based on what do you think about those 3? I think that definitely they need to be starting. Jamie says, great show, balanced and top-notch. Canadian Gooners, thank you for tuning in. Laka, Alba and Pepe along with Torreira, I think I can translate that broken message into. Yes, I agree with you, Ryan. I think that's what needs to happen. Om says that people gave Emery a hard time with the formation, but was first thing Klopp mentioned when he asked what was hard about the game. And I think that's certainly something that you can talk about. I think the formation definitely stuttered Liverpool quite a lot. And I just think that in terms of how we played against them, it was a tactic that was lined up specifically to deal with the press, deal with the fact that they cross a lot, and not allow anything go through the central area of the field. We can deal with the crosses, and we did, the aerial ones anyway. The low-driven ones we struggled with a bit more. But I just think that the formation worked quite well, and it's a formation decision that we need to make against Tottenham that is going to win us the game, we hope. Brandon says, we owe Emery an apology for not playing Laka against Liverpool with an injury. I think that is for sure. I think a lot of people complain that Lacazette didn't start. If you don't have someone at 100% in a game against Liverpool, I wouldn't be starting him. Definitely not. Let's continue on. On criticism of David Luiz last Sunday. The penalty last Sunday, we cannot speak a lot about that. The action with Salah, we cannot speak a lot about that. For example, for that penalty, he has 1 yellow card. So if he made a foul with Salah, it's the second. He was intelligent, and we can speak about positive decisions, and we can also speak about the goal. We are in our way, and I like and want his mentality. I want his ambition. I want to transmit the ambition from him and me to other players after we can be competitive. Very political answer from the manager that you'd expect. You wouldn't want him to dive in and criticise his player based on the decision. I think he defended the 3rd goal perfectly. As I said, he was on a yellow in the tactical breakdown. I highlighted that Xhaka and Monreal really sort of threw him under the bus a bit because they left him so far isolated that he had to run in and deal with that scenario. He didn't deal with it great because he was on that yellow. He wasn't able to do what most players would do by fouling him professionally. And unfortunately, that meant that we conceded that 3rd goal. But the penalty was madness. It was ridiculous, and he made a silly choice. And Emery's never going to turn around and say that, but he defends him well, and I think that's fair enough. A good time to play Tottenham. So here we go. Talking about the game specifically, he says, for us to play matches like last week against Liverpool and this week against Tottenham, the 2 teams who played the final of the Champions League last year, is amazing. I think it's the best test, and every time is a good moment to play against them. Sunday with our supporters, I think, is the best moment to play and enjoy with our supporters in that match, that derby. He didn't really answer the question in terms of is it a good time to play Tottenham. He says that I think it's the best moment to play and enjoy with our supporters. It would be a bit. I understand why he's gone with that route. I understand that he's not said that. Yes, of course they've lost their last game and drew against City, and their form at the moment isn't great. I don't think there's any good time to play any team in a derby because, as we know, form goes out the window, and we know that it doesn't matter what happens, they are going to turn up gunning for us. And we need to be ready. And it doesn't matter what their last results were. They're going to put quality out on that pitch. And whilst we can slate them all day long, we need to appreciate that there are some quality players in that team. Quality players like Eriksen if he starts. There's other like Ndombele, for instance, who I've got a lot of respect for, other than the fact he plays for Spurs. But I just think that We need to be ready, and we can't just go on what's happened already. We need to be sure that we're ready to play this team, no matter what their previous results are. Any plans to stop Harry Kane? Kane is a big and great player for them, but we also have very big and great players in our team. We are going to play with our game plan and also with respect to them, but also believing in our game plan and in our players and in our supporters, because they are going to help us. Two things on that. In terms of relation to Kane, he's never going to reveal the tactics that he has to try and stop him, because that would be lunacy. Why would you do that publicly and give any sort of idea? Kane has been a thorn in our side for a long, long time. We know that. We have to show him a little ounce of respect in terms of his ability, because if he didn't have it, he wouldn't be scoring this many goals against us. Aerially, he's very, very good. And that's why, against Liverpool, yes, Firmino, Salah, and Mane are not going to be the best in the air. Harry Kane is exceptionally good in the air. If we allow the same amount of crosses coming into our box like we did against Liverpool, we're going to get absolutely ruined. Kane is going to get onto those and he's going to score. So we cannot let anywhere near the same amount of crosses coming into the box like we did against Liverpool. It just cannot be in that way. We cannot use that tactic. We need to be on those fullbacks. We need to be on what is going to be most likely Danny Rose. It's not going to be Walker Peters. It's probably going to be Serge Aurier, because Walker Peters is probably injured. And we need to be on them, and we need to be recovering possession as quickly as possible, and we need to be closing them down before those crosses come in. In the tactical breakdown so far this season, I highlighted it in the games against Burnley and Newcastle. We were allowing way too many crosses to come in against us from those guys. And against Liverpool, it was even more. 30 crosses in the entire game. We didn't really deal with the ones that were low and driven across the box. We dealt with the ones that were aerially, but they were crossing into a box full of players for Liverpool that aren't fantastic in the air and nowhere near as good as Harry Kane. And that is important moving forward. Mr. Arsenal Podcast says, if Eriksen don't play Sunday, surely he's leaving. I don't know the situation on Eriksen. I know the situation is controversial, and that there's the fact that he probably wants to leave, but whether he does or not, I really, really don't know. Rayan says is on Dombele. Hard one to say sometimes. Is he injured? I'm not sure. He had a knock, I think. I'm not sure if he will play or not. If he doesn't, that's a huge miss for them. Absolutely huge. Lord Hughes says, I've always wanted Luiz in the centre defensive midfield position. He has played there before, so maybe it's something that we could experiment with in the cup games. I definitely think it's a possibility. Brandon says that Emery always defends his players. He even defended Mustafi after the Palace game. Agreed, and that's what a manager should do. So I have no quarrels with that whatsoever. Chris says that would I play Ozil? No, I wouldn't play him from the start. I think he's someone that possibly could come off the bench later on if he is available to us. I just think we need to go over more compact midfield to support that attacking front three that should be Pepe, Alba, and Laka. But if you want to know the main lineup, you are going to be seeing that in a video tomorrow. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about the lineup that I would pick, because I want to keep it for tomorrow's show. The transcript, you can go on the website and look at every single word from the breakdown on the Football London website. So please do go and check that. You can reread through all of that. Before we go, of course, I want to answer some of your questions and read through some of your comments and talk about what we've basically discussed here today. Sheikh says, do you think our fans are fickle who are saying that Emery are out already? Fickle is a strong word. Naive, I would say, is probably the correct word to use. I think that they've been I think as fans, we've experienced a long period of decline at Arsenal. And I just think that I can understand why people get frustrated, especially considering we were in such a good position last year to achieve Champions League football. And the fact that we didn't would have hurt a lot of people. Do I think it's madness to suggest Emery out at this early stage? I don't think it's fickle. I think it is naive, because I think there's a lot to still be offered. I think we're still going through a period of transition. And until we really replace a lot of the team and get out the mentality issues that are going wrong with the team at the moment, we won't really see too much of an improvement moving forwards. And that's why it just needs a little bit more time. I don't think that we should be saying Emery out. I wouldn't go as far as insulting to say that they're fickle. I just think it's slightly naive. And 95 Winston says, set Kolasinac the task of tapping Kane on his glass ankles early on. Kolasinac plays, which is a high possibility. I think his greatest threat is obviously attacking-wise, putting those balls into the box for Laka, Alba or Pepe to get on the end of as a driven low ball into the box. But ultimately, he does need to be more conservative in the other direction, and that's going to be big for us moving forwards. Moving forwards, says, how does Ozil get back into this team? I think Ozil gets back into this team by playing in a home game against a lesser side to start with. He shows what he can do. He shows that he means business this season, and then we can start employing him in our bigger games and our more important games throughout the season. It shouldn't be the case for someone on 350 grand a week, but unfortunately, that is the hand that we've been dealt. Vesley says, who could leave in the next 2 days? Monreal, Mustafi, Elneny, Emil Smith-Rowe on loan. I don't think that you'll see ESR leave. He's still recovering from an injury, so I doubt that would happen. Monreal, Mustafi, and Elneny. Monreal and Elneny, 100%, I think we're going to see go. Mustafi on 50-50 on. I hope he does. I hope we get a fee for him. I hope it's permanent. In terms of whether I think it'll happen again, I think it's just 50-50. That's just where I'm at. Avon says, who will Ozil replace in the lineup going forwards? As I said, if we start Ozil in a game at home, I think it means Sabas drops deeper or Willock drops deeper. And so one of those two would be replaced by Ozil to go in his more natural number 10 role. Cleverdon says that if Spurs beat us, then what? Then we go again. We go again in our next fixture. We move past it. If it happens, it's always a possibility. My expectation is that it won't happen. But if they do beat us, we need to just keep going forwards, because you can't just sit on your laurels. You can't just sit back and just pretend like you can chuck your manager out now, because you can't. We've had a strong start to the season, in my opinion. We've had a strong transfer window, but it's a window that still needs to come out of with some transition. I'm actually slightly annoyed. I'm not annoyed because there's nothing we can do about it. I'm slightly frustrated that we have to play these big teams so early on, because I think if these players and this system could have been more established, we would have had a better chance of winning them. But I think we still should have the best chance of beating Spurs than we have done in a long time. And I'm looking forward to the game and I can't wait for it. Rayan says that, would you start Willock against Spurs? I will tell you in tomorrow's video. That's the most I'll say about that, because that's where I'm going to talk about my lineup. Tom, you going to be at the Arsenal v Palace game in October? Would love to have a pint with you. I don't know at the moment, basically, because of my job. It's a bit tricky sometimes, but if I can get a ticket, I will be there. I'll be there on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to it. Ndombele could play as well, says Tommy. Yeah, I think it's a possibility that he could play. He's maybe got a knock, so maybe we'll have to see what happens. We're going to finish off the show there. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please share it around. This huge thing at the moment is since the start of the season, we haven't got this whole transfer hype, and I know that transfer hype brings with it more people wanting to watch the videos and watch it. And one thing I want to say is that a lot of work goes into the videos, like the tactical breakdown. Now, these live shows are nice for me because they're just live and talking to you guys and analysing things. The tactical breakdowns, for instance, are hours. They take hours to edit, hours to get the information, get the videos from Graham and edit all together. So if you could do your best to share those around and tell people and spread past the pod, pass it all around, I would really, really appreciate it. And thank you ever so much for tuning in. Take the time out of your day to watch these videos. So thank you ever so much. If you're new, please subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed the content. And if you have, please give it a like and turn that little bell on that notifications button, because you can join in with our live chat like all of these guys that have been in our chat today. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. Thank you, Avon. Thank you, Om. Thank you, Big Gunner. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, people. We will see you again tomorrow for the video talking about the lineup that I would personally start against Tottenham Hotspur. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And as always, up the Arsenal.